So we have a Taylor guitar here with action that is much too high. Or even if you had the brute strength to be able to play it, it doesn't do you any good because it'll be a mile out of tune. All the notes become super sharp as you reach the top of the fingerboard. So a neck reset is the only way to go for this one. Okay, we'll start by spinning these strings off. Now Bob had this up at the lake, and I guess it was pretty humid over the summer, and the top had raised up quite a bit. Now I put it up in the attic in the drying room for a few weeks to sort of bring it down a bit, but it definitely needs a neck reset. There's no way around it. And we shall walk you through that, as we always do. And Bob likes a medium string. Yeah, no point in even trying to do the intonation with the action that high. So first thing we got to do is get that label off so we can expose those bolts. I got a 13th thou feeler gauge there, and I'm going to try and get in under that label. So the trick with these labels is you want to peel them back like the page of a book. Don't take them off completely because you'll never get them back on in the same place. So I reached in underneath after heating it up with that hair dryer for about 3 minutes, and then just peeled it back and left the one side intact, and now we can loosen off those fasteners. So I got my extension with the proper sized socket on there. So I kind of get the socket into place. I have this pair of tweezers with 2 little bits of hockey puck on either side, so I can hold this level while I get my ratchet on there. There we go. And that's all we needed, was just to kind of crack it loose. And now it'll just loosen off by hand. That's the puppy. Okay, top bolt. So again, I just kind of cracked it loose. Rest I can just turn it out by hand. Now the last bolt is underneath the fingerboard, and I can feel that that was obstructing my pathway to the head bolt. So this fingerboard bolt should really come out first. I've left it till last. And this, I have my little Taylor flag taped to that Allen key that I kind of cut down and shortened and rounded off here so that it works quickly for these Taylor guitars. And there you go. That comprises the 3 bolts that hold these necks together. So drop that off. We need to actually tilt the neck back, and that means that we have to take out the shim. So we're going to take all of the material off this end, actually on this side, and that will allow us to tilt that neck back, bring the fingerboard up, and that's essentially what we're doing. That's how we're going to tilt the neck back, by thinning this shim out on the radius disc sand with the conversion kit for the drill press. We do that very quickly, very efficiently. Been doing it for years. It works like a charm. So the foot switch allows me to get both hands on deck to hold this thing as we sand. Basically putting the pressure on this side. I don't want to take anything off this side. It's all coming off the tip. So that foot switch frees up both hands to kind of hold this thing onto the disc as we sand. So we'll put that neck back on now and have another look. And this I'm just going to barely touch it. So now, when we run that straight edge along the center of the fingerboard and we come up to the bridge, that's exactly what we want. So we've got tons of real estate to adjust that action anywhere we need it. Now, as per usual, when you reset the neck on any guitar, you do have a little bit of a high spot here. We're just going to dress this area of the fingerboard, and then along the trajectory of the string path, it'll be dead straight. So just this little high spot right here. Like, this is good, this is good, it's just right at that neck junction. So let's do that. Okay, so we'll get that. Essentially, it's like one fret primarily. And just kind of blend this portion of the neck in with the fingerboard extension. So we're going with EJ19s, which is the bluegrass string on this one. It's kind of a light top and medium bottom or medium bass strings. The reason being is this guitar doesn't have any back braces, and so I thought it might be a better idea to go with a slightly lighter string rather than the straight mediums. So we're starting this whole process here. Now that we've got the action where it should be, we can check the intonation. It was kind of pointless checking it up to now because those strings are way too high to even get a read on the intonation at the bridge. This will give us a better idea, and I know that typically with Taylor I do cantilever those two middle strings. We'll see as this unfolds. Oh, and incidentally, the fret guard on this one is quite a bit bigger than I usually do, and the reason for that is all the circuitry for the preamp inside this guitar, it's not encased, it's wide open, so I just didn't want to get any debris kind of caught in that. But now that we're done all of the fretwork, we can go ahead and take this off. I need to gently fold that label back as well. Okay, so now we can get some kind of an idea what we got here. Okay, so here's the acid test. A little bit flat. Check the 7th. And the 19th. That's very good. So open, and 12th, a little bit flat, 7th, 7th, and 19th. Very good too. So and 12th. Right on the money. 7th and yeah, okay. Typically those two middle strings on the tail are a little bit flat, so we got room to move yet. That's good. And yeah, there you go. So D and G need to move forward, and they are right at the front of the saddle. So we are going to need to do a cantilever saddle. That's good. Very good. Good. Just the middle two strings, the rest of them are good. So I'll make that new saddle now. Before we go any further, I'm going to fold that label back into place. And there we go. Once again, we've covered our tracks. Nobody would even know we were here. So this original saddle is 120, and we are at 124. So just going to touch this on the radius disc sander. Be right back. There's our original saddle. The low E and A were great, and the B string and the high E were also good. It was just these two that needed to come forward. I've marked those a little bit beyond what we need, and if we need to cut them back, we will. Now we're more or less connecting the dots. So I'll start with this elliptical cut first, and we'll do that on the radius disc sander. Well, I'm going to start with this B and cut that back to the line. Okay. Then our A string. Again, just got to chase that, these two middle ones, right to the leading edge. We can always cut them back if we need to. And then the other ones, I'm just kind of putting them back where they were on the original saddle. Okay, we're just about ready to put this on the guitar and see what we got. So I've got the flat of the pencil to just kind of draw a bit of a topographic tracing. And it looks like we could come back here on the A a little bit more. Bring that B back a little bit. Alright, let's try that. So we did err on the side of caution, and we left that a little too high. So I'm just kind of grabbing it with this continuous hinge that I lined with 120 grit sandpaper, and I'm just bringing the whole thing down and trying to respect that radius. I'm back to that topographic map of the original saddle. The two outside strings on both sides were good. The high E, the B, the A, and the E. It was just really the two middle strings that we needed to nudge forward. And that is what we've done. So now I'm just going to, again, coax that B string back. The high E has got to come back a little bit, and both the A and E need to come back. Okay, we'll go try that. See what we've got. Okay, so this is our second time round. The two high strings, the B and the E, they're the right height and they're perfectly in tune. So we're talking about the 7th fret, corresponding 19th fret octave. The D string and the G string are still sharp, and that's okay. I gave it a little bit more than I needed, and that's what you want. You can always take material off. You can't put it back on. So we got to come back 9 cents on the G and 6 cents on the D. Now you got to remember, as I pull back, the string drops down, and that also reduces the sharpness. The A string, 3 cents, and the low E, 2 cents. So we're going to do one string at a time. So leave it tuned to concert pitch. Loosen off this one string, scrape that back with a razor blade. So scrape that back. File that just a little bit, soften it. So tune that up and have a look. That did it. Okay, A string. So same idea here, kind of scrape that back and then soften it. Let's try that. Let's try that. That's it. D. Now this does have to come back quite a bit. Obviously tilting the blade, you don't want to touch the top. So there's two things that are happening here to reduce the sharpness of that 19th fret octave note. We are lengthening the string by moving that focal point back, but we're also dropping the string down because you got this sort of ramp in the back. Let's see what that does for us. Oh, right on the money. So we got 5 out of 6 strings are done. Last string is the G. This one had to come back the most. It had to come back 9 cents. I'm going to soften it a little bit first. Yeah, I think we've got to come back beyond that pencil line. Just going to move that pencil line back a little bit more. And that does it. Okay. Now that we got that lined up, I'm going to do this sort of topographic map again, and we'll go back to the radius disc sander. A little bit of a different take this time. I'm cutting the overhang back to the line. So the very last thing I did was just soften it a little bit by sanding, and we are now done with the cantilevered compensated bridge saddle. Now we turn our attention to the nut. Okay, so now when I fret the 12th fret note and I actually tune that fretted note to the tuner, the 6th string, and I play the 6th string open, that original nut perfectly in tune, both notes, 12th fret and open. The A string, fretted 12th fret note, tuned to that note with the tuner, play open, the open string is 2 cents flat. Now the biggest discrepancy by far is the D string. So it's 7 cents flat. When I tune to the fretted 12th fret note and play the open string, that's the difference, 7 cents. Second string is 4 cents, high E string is 3 cents. What that means is I need to cantilever, or that ledge needs to hang over the end of the fingerboard a little bit. So these are the discrepancies for this compensated nut on the Taylor. You can see the G string was perfect. So the G and the low E, those two strings are perfectly in tune. Those values, or that focal point on the nut, will stay exactly where it is right at the end of the fingerboard. All the other strings need to cantilever past the end of the fingerboard, and we'll walk you through that step by step. Well, I will bring you in for a look at the saddle and the compensated nut in a minute. I thought we'd start with the tuning test. So I've got that foam in there to stop the other remaining 5 strings from ringing sympathetically, just get a better read on the individual notes. Okay, there's our A string. The compensated cantilevered saddle for Bob's guitar, and that's why, this is one of the reasons, it plays that accurately. And the compensated nut is the other reason. So we had the compensated nut, the neck reset, fret dress at the neck junction, and the compensated cantilevered bridge saddle. Let's go plug this one in. As always, the ultimate test is just playing chords, preferably the same chord in different positions on the neck, and that's what we're doing now. So there's A, B, here's B, C, D, E, F, G. This is another very simple check, and I've mentioned this in numerous other videos. Just playing that garden variety C chord. First position, I am putting that baby finger on the first string. Move it up 2 frets to a D. And then move it up to the 8th and 10th fret for a G. Very simple intonation check. A couple of subscribers asked about, well, what if you're playing chordal chords? They're fine. And I've used this many times before too, just a diatonic 10th. Or a 10th and a 6th. And that same movement on the top group of strings, 4th string for the bass, the 6th on the 2nd string, and then the 10th on the 1st string. Or you can mix any choice of open strings in this key, because all the open strings are available in the key of E. I do have a little progression I've looped in A major, so that pretty well does it for our chord check demo. So I have looped that phrase, and we'll just let that play.